Welcome to Scale Her Up. I'm Brenda Hector, and with me today is Elaine Cooper-Willox of John Willox Kitchen Design. Elaine, thank you for coming on Scale Her Up.
Thank you for asking me to attend. Thanks.
No, it's really good to have you on. Just so although it kind of says it on the tin, John Willox Kitchen Design, what is it that you guys do?
We design and sell kitchens, utilities, boot rooms, home bars, and so on to mostly the public, but sometimes to trade, sort of to joiners, own clients and customers, and also to small builders.
Okay, and you're based in Ellen. So is it pretty much just that sort of area, or how far do you cover?
We cover the whole Aberdeenshire. We have been known to go as far as Orkney, and recently we put a kitchen to the Isle of Islay. So we are a specialist in one of the German brands we're a specialist in. People will come a fair distance to buy our product.
Just thinking about the product and the specialism then, tell us about the kitchens. Why would people come so far to buy a kitchen from you?
So I suppose there are various reasons. One, the German brand I was speaking of there, it's quite a specific, it's a nice brand, it's a decent brand. They have a lot of really good green credentials, I guess, and people are often, if people are wanting to build a home and the sort of eco part is really important to them, they might choose a product such as rock wood, so customers will come to us for that reason. Also, our customer service is one of the things that why people keep coming back to us. We've got good reviews on Google and Facebook, but also some of the joiners, a lot of joiners like sending their customers to us, and we make their lives a wee bit easier. So they'll just by being organised and sort of try to help them, it makes everyone's lives easier and sees a lot of returning customers. So that's good. So we've got a British brand as well and another German brand. So there's various reasons, but sometimes they're quite specific.
Okay, that was good. Good. Thank you for sharing. And then your role then within John Willox Kitchen Design. Obviously it's John's name above the door, but you're also a director and involved heavily in the management of the business. Tell us about your role and how you got there.
So John and I, well, we decided to call the business John Willox Kitchen Design, advice from a family member, because even though it kind of pained me a wee bit, it was John that was known in the kitchen industry, so it really did make sense. So as annoying as it is, it does actually make sense that the business was his name, because people often heard the business and thought, oh, that's John, and came to us automatically because we dealt with him before. So that did work. But John and I set up the business together, and he's very much front of house and I'm very much behind the scenes. So on a day-to-day basis, I look after the marketing, the finance, and all the administration, everything behind the scenes is what I look after. And John's more a people person, maybe, and he deals with the joiners and customers day to day, helps the designers and so on. I'm sort of back office and more administration role, bossing people about.
So I guess lots of people that are watching or listening are maybe thinking of starting a business or thinking they've had some ideas. What's it? Making the decision to get into business with your husband, what should people think of when they're doing that?
Never. There's lots of plus points, I guess. The decision, it's sometimes quite difficult to separate something that's maybe, I find it difficult to separate things from being a husband and wife disagreement to an actual business reason. You might not agree, so you've really got to work and being professional and trying to think, okay, this is a business decision we're making. Otherwise, it can sometimes end up in like a arguing with the dishwasher type thing, which seems trivial. But you sometimes need to take a step back and realise that you're actually in the business, you're in, not a disagreement about something trivial at home, I suppose. I guess there is advantage because the closeness, and you can maybe get things done. I think I would probably struggle to work with another director where we weren't as close as me and John, so that's an advantage. There are lots of good advantages, and I think everything that we are doing is for our family, so that's a big advantage, and everything that we achieve is for ourselves, which I suppose is the main reason we're into business, just for a better future for our family.
And how long have you been in business now?
We set up John Willox Kitchen Design in 2014, and we opened the showroom in January 2015. So we started the business in the summer 2014. We then found our showroom in the October of that year, and then we opened in the January after renovating our first showroom.
Well, congratulations. 10 years, the 10-year anniversary. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, a lot of businesses don't get to that kind of, lots of businesses fail much sooner than 10 years. So yeah, really well done to you both. What have been the challenges that you've faced in 10 years then? And how have you overcome them?
One of the biggest challenges was COVID. But actually, I think that was one of the things that made the business, because we were really, really forced to make some big decisions. Mm-hmm. We had to try and work out how to keep the business afloat during a period where we weren't even allowed to be in the showroom. We had to move. So it made us, I guess it made us appreciate how the business needed to be flexible. We managed to move everything into the house, and John and I worked from there. I think it made us really analyse every cost. One of the things we realised, it learned us a lot more about our finances. We were forced to analyse everything. And so a lot of the things looking back, and before that period was quite naive about a few things. So I think being forced into that fight or flight kind of situation made us all, made John and I a bit stronger. But the pivotal point, I think, was COVID. We learned a lot more about the business during and after COVID. I think the increase in the cost of raw materials has really pushed us to have to make sure that our service is top notch. Competition is a lot more fierce, I think, since after COVID. Also, that learned us about our loyalty to our suppliers. So during the period, we had to make a decision. We made a decision to make sure we paid everyone, to make sure that everyone was always up to date, and just tried to juggle everything. And that repaid us when we got back into business, because we had strong relationships with other companies which were also family owned, and they've loyally supported us since then. And some said it was that some of their customers just chose not to pay them. So that was one of the things that we learned a lot about, the importance of loyalty to our suppliers, and to some of our customers as well. I think customers are different now. People, as the world becomes more and more, everything's online. Often people are maybe hide behind a keyboard more, I think. I suppose there's a wee threat of you're always a wee bit worried that you're going to get a bad review or things like that. I think that keeps everyone on their toes. Challenge wise, our big challenge was when we found new premises. So that was challenge we overcome. We outgrew our old showroom, and we also outgrew our store. And then at one point, we were actually working at 3 different buildings, which was impossible. So we 2 years ago, we moved into our new showroom, just in the outskirts of Ellen. So that has seen us grow in staff and grow the showroom, and just made life a wee bit easier for us as well.
Was there, was there a risk of doing that? Was it something that you had to do, or was it a difficult decision to take the leap of faith and extend the, it's a beautiful big showroom that you've got there now. Was that a difficult decision to take?
It wasn't a difficult decision because we had to, because we had our showroom in the centre of Ellen, which we couldn't all fit in. So not everyone, because we had someone working part-time, somebody on maternity leave, and it was sometimes a juggle if everyone wanted to be in the showroom at once, so it wasn't possible. It was also seems trivial with the parking there. It was really bad, so we struggled to park our own company vehicles, which we thought customers are not going to want to come and try and struggle to find a parking space. So that was one of the things. But just to keep the company, keep everyone together, because we had Ewan, who looks after our stores. He was working from an office just quite close to where we are just now, and it wasn't good for. He was disjointed from the team, so we had to become grouped together in one building. It was because it was much bigger. My fear, I suppose, was that what if we don't sell enough kitchens? What if the world changes, like the COVID thing again? What pulls the rug from beneath your feet? But it's actually been the best thing we've ever done, because we can operate the business better. Costs our electricity bill is actually much less because we can put in we've got a better heating system. Everybody's warm. Just trivial things like that. That costs are all important, and it's actually more economical to run this building, and everyone can be together. Everyone can get parked. So yeah, it works.
So you're more efficient and more effective at what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because our deliveries were coming into our store for John's sanity as well. He was often backwards and forwards from one side of Ellen to the other. It's just for efficiency. It was no good, but and everyone knowing what's going on. So Ewan is now back in the heart of the business again, and everyone knows who's doing what, and so it works better.
So is that internal communication? So you've mentioned your team, you've mentioned the disjointedness. How important is internal communication within everyone in the team?
Well, it is crucial to our line of business. We still work in that yet. So for a start, when we moved in, we thought, that's fine, everyone's in the same building. We're all actually in different offices. So that, well, for a start, we thought, that's great, we're all in the same building. We then still needed to work on making sure that everyone knew what was going on, because a bad habit actually started after that, where people would say, oh, I spoke to such and such, thinking that maybe someone else overheard them. So we had to kind of go back and say, okay, for projects, we'll have one meeting, it's given the time, everyone's given the time in that meeting to really focus on that project, who's doing what's needed, and so on. And that's made a big difference, because we wrongly assumed, I guess, that because we're all in the same building, everyone knows what's going on. But even with me and John, we're in the same office, but he'll be speaking about something with someone in the showroom, and he's thinking, oh, I knew about that. We still need to work on making sure the right people know the right information.
So have you got a system in place then for how information's transferred between people? Are there team meetings, or what for people that are listening or watching that are thinking, oh, I need to get better communication in my business, what have you put in place?
We've put in place what we call a tidy up meeting. So what we found was there was like a weak point when we placed an order and everyone assumed that everyone knew what was coming from where and who had done what. And often there would be something right at the end, like, oh, somebody hasn't done that. And everyone was kind of assuming that someone else knew, and so on. So we went right back to the start and we says, okay, when the project sold, we have what we call a tidy up meeting. Now, the important part of that meeting is that it's given the same privacy. One of the things, revert back a wee bit there, one of the things we found was sometimes that meeting was held and then other people would start asking things about other projects or would catch somebody in the way past. So the rule is that the phones are off and no one interrupts. It's given the same kind of rules as if a customer was in speaking to a designer or one of the team. You don't interrupt. So it's just the key there is focus on that one project. So 45 minutes to an hour focusing on one project at the very start saves saves much more time later on in the job, because it makes sure that all boxes are ticked. So I think the key there is making sure that meeting's done and focusing on it without distraction is the key.
And that, I guess, that means that everybody within the team knows that their part's getting done or what they need to do to make sure it happened. You make sure that, I guess, all the parts of everything's been ordered, everybody knows what's happening. And then that'll mean that a customer's having a better experience as well.
Yes, I mean, we need to, during a project, if we find something's missing, whether it's a small electrical part or something like that, we will go and make sure that is delivered to site. The last thing we want is a customer or ourselves having to pay an electrician or somebody to go all the way back to fit one tiny thing. So we'll try and make sure that everything's there so that time's used in the best way possible, and there's nobody's holding on at the end, because if you've been waiting a long time and paid a lot of money for a nice new kitchen, you want to be able to use it as soon as possible and everything being up and running. So we'll always try that to make sure that happens. But things that save us time, so instead of having to send that wee bit out, one person in the car with one wee bit, that's saving everyone time. So it's making the customer experience better, I guess, but it's also, the main thing there is it's saving us time, making us more efficient. It's what we've found, because we will try and bend over backwards to make sure the customer experience is always the best, but it's maybe sometimes to our detriment. So in John's time or everyone else's time could be better spent doing something else other than doing an emergency run.
Absolutely. So yeah, making sure that your company's running smoothly. So that's the systems there. We've talked about the team and the suppliers and the joiners and the trades that work with you. What's been your experience of building a good team? And that covers everyone, doesn't it? The suppliers and the fitters and everything as well.
Again, communication. One of the most important things is paying everybody just bang on time. So for all our subbies, we try and pay them as quickly and efficiently as possible. And just being decent to people, I think that goes a long way. So just being honest, upfront and decent with people and paying them in time goes a long way to a good
Back
team.
to what you said, and I wrote it down, actually, the importance of loyalty. So you look after them, they look after you. They go ways, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's but just being communication for them as well, because when they are, especially with the joiners, they are facing the customer. So sometimes if something's not gone as expected, they're first in the line of fire. It's quite a stressful experience getting major work done to your house. So it's okay for us because we're doing this all the time, but someone has never had this level of upheaval in their home. So I suppose they can be something that's quite small and trivial, they're worried in case it turns into a big deal. And often the joiners are first in line of fire there. So we need to make sure that they are fully equipped with all the information and answers if that's what's needed, or a solution.
So back to Elaine. What have you learned about yourself? Actually, we'll say yourselves, about yourself and John in the 10 years that you've been in business then?
I have no idea how to answer that one. I suppose we're capable of more than we thought. I guess the business is a lot bigger than we imagined it would be. We set up 10 years ago. I think how we imagined the business to run is we never imagined it would be like the size it is now. I think we thought we would just sort of maybe John, a few joiners, maybe one employee or something. Yeah, I didn't imagine it. I don't think I ever thought, well, we'll grow it to this size. I mean, it's not huge, but I didn't actually think at that point we'd be in this size of showroom. What have I learned about myself? Maybe I've got quite a bad temper, but I maybe knew that before.
No, I like that. Yeah, you can do more than you thought. You can achieve more. Yeah. You didn't imagine such a big business. I guess you've reset your goals, having got to where you are. So did your goals always increase as you realised that the business was getting bigger than you'd envisaged?
Yes, I mean, there was a point. So I suppose we had an idea we wanted to grow the business, but the ideas we had for growing the business weren't, if we'd gone down that route, we thought about maybe doing something more manufacturing or something like that. And that was the answer. If we had done that, I think with the way the world's going, when you've got your big manufacturers and they're investing money into online and so on, I don't think we would have survived in that. So what we have actually done is focus and concentrate on what we're good at, rather than trying to expand into something we didn't know anything about. We thought that we could maybe go in a different direction, but we've come in the direction of just expanding what we're doing well. We thought that we would, for some reason, it sounds strange now looking back, we thought, oh, we'll maybe stay small but do something different, which definitely was the solution. But the way we work just now is we just try and replicate the same, but more.
You were at the point where you said that you decided to focus on what you're good at.
So we thought that in order to grow the business, we'd have to add different things into the business. And in hindsight, that wouldn't have worked. So we focused on what we were good at, and that has paid off. I don't know why we never thought that the business would grow like that. We thought, oh,
you were looking at growing by expansion and adding different services rather than just more of the thing that you're really good at.
Yes, and I think in hindsight that would have been, I guess, we could invest in a lot in equipment and things that we were not confident in. We didn't have neither of us had the background knowledge in. And I think sticking to what both of us knew about in business has paid off, instead of leaping into something that sounded like a good idea. In hindsight, wouldn't have been a good idea.
I love that. It's a really good learning to share actually with the listeners. Yeah, stick to what you're good at. Focus on what you're good at. Write it down. So I was gonna ask you about women in business.
Mhm.
So obviously the purpose of the Scale Her Up is to encourage other women to step up, to start up or scale up their business. What would be your advice to another female entrepreneur?
I think I never really see the difference between men and women in business. I always just think just being the best person you can and trying your best at whatever is put in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm one of 3 girls, and we're from a farming background. So from a young age, we were always, I suppose, everyone was like, oh, say to Dad, oh, but you'd a boy. But so I guess for a young age, we were pretty much, females can do the same. So that's never really been a problem for us. And myself and both my sisters have worked in maybe male orientated roles. So it's never really been something that crosses my mind. I suppose at the time it does annoy me is when people phone up and ask they need to speak to John about things like the card machine and things. It's really strange that they feel they need to speak to a man about that, but it's becoming less and less frequent. But yeah, just I think my ethos has never been to actually think something's a male or female role. It's just kind of just being a decent person and just getting on and not being scared to get stuck in, try things. I think.
I love it. Love it. So who's been your biggest supporter in business?
From our family and our friends. So when we started up for a start, our open days, our sharing things on social media, everyone was right behind us. Other local businesses, we met some really good contacts and networking early on, and we support them and they support us, businesses we now use. So again, just decent, honest relationships with people have helped. But our family and friends and close friends have really supported us, sharing things and helping us out with bits and pieces.
And I guess in return you do the same for them.
Yes, I am. Yep, we. I suppose any of them are business. We are support and help them, and yeah, I try and return the favour.
So use your network and support your network.
Aye, definitely.
Good, good. I like it. So if you could, so we're both mothers of teenagers. If you could go back to your teenage self, actually, how old's your daughter?
She's 13.
Okay. If you could go back to 13-year-old Elaine, what advice would you give her?
I would say to focus on things at school that interest you, instead of, for some reason, the choices when I chose my subjects were nothing. Some of them did interest me. But if I focused more, thinking I really enjoyed that, that's what I'll do. And again, I wish I'd done more technical, more the metal work or woodwork. You were kind of pushed into this more domestic science. I think if I'd actually said, no, I'm wanting to do that, they would have been fine. I just never spoke up. But do what you want, do what you enjoy, and speak up.
I like that. Do what you enjoy and speak up. Are you doing what you enjoy now?
Most of the time. I get quite bored. I suppose I'm bored after I get excited about starting something new, a project and so on. And then once it's up and running, I'm thinking, oh, I want to get involved in someone else. So it's good to be able to sort things out, pick and choose what I want to be involved in, and then kind of move on to looking at different things in the business.
We'll finish with another question that I often ask at the end. Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't know? Anything that you want to add to the conversation?
I think so. I think it's covered mostly everything, I think. Considering how nervous I was about doing this, that's fine.
Oh, you've been great. You've been a great guest. Thank you so much for your time, Elaine.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and join our Facebook community at Scale Her Up. Please connect with me, Brenda Hector, on social media and drop me a message to let me know how you're enjoying the podcasts, or even better, pop up a review. I'll finish by reminding you that only 1 in 3 UK entrepreneurs are female, and men are 5 times more likely to scale their business to over 1 million in turnover than women are. If we started and scaled our businesses to the same extent as men, it would add £250 billion to the UK economy and provide millions of jobs. Ladies, you can do it and make a massive difference.